What is going on, YouTube? Today we'll be talking about power creep, the new units, and whether or not we're going towards pay to win. Stay tuned, let's get into the video. Alright guys, as usual, the details for the giveaway are on your screen. Make sure that you have subscribed, that you are liking the video, and that you are posting in the comments below the answers to the two questions that I'll be asking you throughout the video. We have one more week left about. Make sure that you are going back to the old videos and staying tuned for the next videos to get as many chances as possible to win. So without further ado, let's get into this video here because, going into this fight, I think that there's a lot to talk about with the comments that people have been dropping on a lot of these videos, or not the videos, but rather just in general about the game, right? And the videos that have been coming out, even from whether it's other YouTubers or so on and so forth, right? Looking at what's going on here, I'm just kind of keeping control over the match here, and I kind of want to show how little having, for example, 7 stars or new units or whatever actually matters in this case, right? I mean, if you're better than your opponent, got him with the key cancel there when he thought he had me. It's not about what you're putting into the game. This person here is getting demolished. He has not touched me, by the way. All 3 of my characters are full health. Him with the Rising Rush, we're going to delete this character here. He does not call it. And it just goes downhill for him from here. So what I want to talk about today is specifically Majin Vegeta, first of all, but the thought that you need to have new units, you need to have 7 stars on these new units to be competitive, and that's just not true. Most of my characters have 2 stars. I mean, now I think this banner was the first time I actually reached more than 3 stars, maybe big max, just because I was trying to get Goku Black. I'm a YouTuber now, so I do want to be able to have these units and showcase them and all that good stuff. So now I end up pulling Majin Vegeta like 6 times in a row before I actually got Goku Black. Feels bad, man, but still I put in maybe a little over $100, which is actually a lot. It's literally the amount of the giveaway that I put into this banner. But that being said, I'm not a player that has been abusing the kind of whale mentality, right? And I do think that, yes, getting more stars makes your unit stronger, but I don't think that it actually matters to the extent that someone is not climbing because he doesn't have a new unit, or he's not climbing because he doesn't have 7 stars or whatever. I had a discussion on, I believe it was a Facebook group recently, where someone was saying that, oh, the game is pay to win, you need to have, all these stars on your units to be able to keep up, and get out of here. No, the game is not pay to win, and in the clip I just showed you, the same thing applies, right? It doesn't matter that the units I was using had 2 stars. Even if the guy had 7 stars on his units, he would have still taken these hits and, lost the match just because he was outclassed on that. It happens sometimes. You run into that one player, he gets that first neutral screen, maybe it tilts you, and then he just takes control and runs away with the game, right? So now, in terms of Majin Vegeta, people have been mentioning how his 50% damage is overpowered, blah blah blah, and then the whole self-destruct thing. Well, first of all, I want to address kind of the other units, and I already talked about it in the last video, so I'll make this kind of quick. But the 50% damage is not something new, and I want to stress that these high stats that they have, the 50% damage, I mean, if you look at other units, for example, we go back, even on this same banner, we had, what was it, Goku, that had 40% on regeneration damage, and Goku Black that has Saiyan and Hybrid Saiyan bonus damage at 30%, I believe. They're bringing this damage for free, and they're also bringing their abilities. So Goku Black, for example, has another 50% damage that he stacks on top of it, right? Goku has the same thing in his unique abilities. As the game progresses, he starts off, I think, with like 20%, and it gets worse and worse from there. But they don't hinder their team the way Majin Vegeta does for using that 50%. So now, if you're fighting him, how do you counter him? Well, you want to be, for example, planning for him to come out and using your Rising Rush on him, or you want to make sure that you're just not losing these neutral screens, right? That's what it ultimately comes down to, because if you're getting knocked around and losing multiple neutral screens, guess what? You're not as good as your opponent. Your opponent is outclassing you, and that's why you're losing. It has nothing to do with Majin Vegeta. If you're losing neutral screens, like units don't fall into that equation, right? So the fact that you're losing multiple screens and you expect to win, I mean, get out of here. So anyways, I just needed to kind of vent that thought out to you guys here. As far as the actual use of Majin Vegeta, he does get that damage bonus that literally any other team can have on that team as well, by the way. But if you do use him, the thing is that either you're not using him on rotation because you're going to be debuffing your team, or you're saving him towards the end, which is still bad because now you're basically rotating only 2 units. So you're counting a lot on just outclassing your opponent, in which case you would have won anyways, right? As far as the self-destruct goes, I mean, when you're team building, right, notice how I never, ever, ever make a Z tier, S tier, whatever shenanigans list of individual units. There's a reason for that. Individual units do not matter. If they did, hybrids would still be #1, right? Hybrids are bottom tier right now with all these incredible units, right? The Trunks and Goten synergy. We have the Gotenks, we have the Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. Like, literally all of them are amazing. But their team is garbage and they just don't bring anything. So if you're going up against literally any kind of opponent, guess what you're going to want to do? You're going to want to build for it. So whether or not you're bringing, for example, a unit with an ultimate ability that actually does damage to counter his self-destruct, or maybe you're bringing Bardock to make sure that you're locking him in when he does switch, if he does switch it before the end of the match, you need to be bringing a team that can handle the meta. And now obviously everyone is super hyped about Majin Vegeta, so guess what you should be doing as a player trying to climb? You should be building a team that can handle all this damage coming in. Maybe you're going to rotate back in Instant Transmission Goku, just because you know that you have tendency to lose that first neutral screen, and guess what? You're going to use your Instant Transmission to give yourself a reset button, right? There's different things that you can do to kind of tilt things into your favor, and it doesn't always have to do with using new units. If we go back to, for example, the OG, the Broly, the original Broly card, which was like, what, in the first couple banners, or maybe it was the first one, I don't know, I've only been playing for like 2 months, right? But, this old unit, I mean, remember these stats? I mean, he's been doing the whole huge stats thing. Power creep has nothing to do with any of this. You have Broly, who was doing huge amounts of damage. If you tried to bring in a type advantage unit against him, guess what? He would green card you, grab you by the face, throw you right out. He had the gimmick. He started the gimmicks, right, with the whole him being against Goku thing, and then you had the Blue Goku later on, which had anti-him, and it was just kind of a back and forth between them. These gimmicks have been around. Power creep, people will just like to point to new units, not know how to play against them, lose a match, and then say, oh, it's power creep. None of that. So the point I'm trying to make is that, by the way, using the green card from Broly and grabbing Vegeta by the face and throwing him out while he's casting his self-destruct would be hilarious. But bring a team. Think about what you're doing in a match, right? And the lesson I'm trying to bring here is that if you think that you're supposed to be bringing whatever unit and lose all these neutral screens and still win a match, then guess what? That is called pay to win, right? If you have a unit that you can bring into literally any match, lose all the neutral screens and still win, that would be a unit that would be pay to win, and everyone would be dropping whale type money to get that one unit. The fact that you are losing means that there is still skill in the game, right? You can't just bring whatever YOLO unit. Now, you could argue that, oh, well, you need to have gotten X and Y units. Well, I mean, it's not like you can't acquire new units. People have been arguing this over and over, but a bunch of free-to-play players, every time they show up and they say, hey, we know that there are certain banners that have low chances. We like to stack the odds in our favor. So they'll end up rolling on the step-up banner that has 2 free sparkings, right? So if you've been, hoarding out 10k crystals, well, guess what? You've got a bunch of free sparkings, like guaranteed 100% sparkings, and you also have the possibility, what is it, like an increased chance on sparkings that they add to this banner. Some people have been getting like 3-4 sparkings in one pull. you know, this is the kind of banner as a free to play player that you need to be saving for, right? If you're going to just download a game and say, you know what, I'm not going to pay any money to enjoy this content, but still complain. I mean, they give you free crystals, so you need to be playing the game in such a way that you're taking advantage of that, right? So long story short, it's on you if you're losing matches. No matter what, it's on you. So with that being said, guys, I will see you on Wednesday, and yeah, see ya.